Dr. Sleep is, this is another great project where they've taken The Shining, Stephen King's The Shining, and they've taken the young boy character in that film, and we're catching up with him later on. So it's a sequel, essentially, to The Shining.
Yeah.
And this is an amazing project, and there's a lot of the supernatural in this project, and which raises the question: Are you a believer? Are you a believer in the supernatural, in ghosts yourself? Have you had any experiences that you can't explain?
I did have one when I was younger, yes. I still don't know exactly what my feelings are about it, because I think it's easy to be skeptical about such things. But I had an incident happen when I was at drama school, it was my 20th birthday. And I was living in a house in Stoke Newington, which is in the northeast side of London, with 4 or 5 other drama students. And it was a 3-story house, a very old house. And at the very top of the house was just one room on its own, that was mine. And then a dark hallway, because there was no windows in the hallway, and then this big flat downstairs that my friend Jeremy had. And I woke up, and it was Easter, and it was also Passover, and everybody had gone home except me, and it was my birthday. So I woke up, and I thought, so I went into someone's room and borrowed their video recorder, and I watched Blue Velvet, which is a film I'd never seen. And I woke up and I was running up.
That's an intense film to watch
Intense film
alone.
in the morning, right, alone.
Yeah.
But it was my birthday, and I thought I was going to be an actor, and I was watching this great performance. I was running a bath, and I had a robe on, and I was just standing, leaning against the door of the door jamb of my bedroom, and I had a terrible pain on my back suddenly, and I was in shock. But I ripped off my robe, and the back of my robe had a huge black burn mark on it. It was singed, the whole back, and then a just intense black burn mark. And I suddenly thought maybe the house was on fire, or there was a spark or a flame, so I ran all around the house, nothing. So I thought that was very odd. I was very unsettled, and I took off overnight. I went to see my uncle for my birthday night, and came back the next day, and I met my friend Jeremy from downstairs, and I was telling him this story, and he went ashen. And I said, what is it? And he went, no, I don't want to tell you. And I made him tell me, and he told me the story that there had been an old reclusive man that lived in his flat downstairs, and that he never went out, and his brother came 2 or 3 times a week to give him a hot meal, and his brother had got sick and hadn't come one day, and he'd got very weak, and he'd fainted in his kitchen when he was boiling the pot on his stove, and it had set fire to the kitchen, and he'd been dragged out of the building, and he died, but he was burnt on his back. And I'd been burnt on my back. And I didn't believe him at first. I thought he was joking, but he phoned the landlady, and she told the story, and I listened. And then... and
there's no logical reason why you would have that burn.
There's no logical reason I had this burn mark on my back. So we freaked out a bit, and it was back in the day, so he poured us all a big brandy, and we were sitting having this brandy. And as we were carrying the brandy back to this, because I wouldn't sleep in my room. I was like, I'm sleeping in your room. So we were walking back to his bedroom, which was in the old living room where the old man had lived. And I made a joke about the dust. I said, look at the dust in here. I don't want to use his real name, but I said, it's as dusty as when Mr. Goldberg used to live here. And at that point, the ceiling of the lounge fell on top of our heads. It came down like a wave. The whole plaster of the ceiling fell in. And I heard this screaming noise. And it was me. I was going, it's okay, it's just the ceiling.
I heard it screaming, and it was me.
It was terrifying. And
I love that.
And I said to him afterwards, we're freaking out. And then I said, look at the place. And everywhere was covered with this inch of dust, from the plaster. And so I feel like that was an unexplainable.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to explain that at all.
No.
Other than that's a really crappy apartment. That's the only thing I can...
Yeah. I lasted 2 weeks and I was out of there. I clearly didn't want me around, Mr. Goldberg.
No, we should go find that apartment now.
Yeah.
Give it a really bad Yelp review. This apartment is terrible. It's an Airbnb. Dr. Sleep, we have a clip from Dr. Sleep, and I don't know that this, as I said, this is the child who's in Stephen King's The Shining, now your age, and having this experience. I don't know that we need to say much more than that.
Okay, then let's not.
Let's take a clip from Dr. Sleep. I love that. No. Stephen King's Dr. Sleep is in theaters November 8th. Ewan, always a pleasure talking to you.
You too. Thank you.